Hello, my name is Terryann Shaw and I am the Dementia Strategic Partnership Manager at Kirklees Council. I am delighted to share with you the Dementia Friendly Design tool. We have a number of large projects and developments underway in Kirklees, for example the redevelopment of our two in-house dementia daycare centres, and colleagues at Stirling DSDC are working with us to ensure that they are built to their gold standards of design. As part of this work, DSDC helped us to understand how changes to the built environment can better support people living with dementia, but also has the added benefit of helping all of us to better navigate our way around places and spaces. So it made sense to us that we considered dementia-friendly design in the wider context at a time when we are moving forward into investments in our new town centres and our general programme of redecoration works throughout our existing assets. And that led us to collaborate with colleagues at DSDC to create the tool. Although it is termed dementia-friendly design, it is very much inclusive design, as it can also support those with sensory and physical disabilities, and coupled with the age-related changes in eyesight and mobility, it became clear that we needed to be able to design and shape our environments in a way which will support all of us, regardless of any health conditions, to stay better connected in our communities and to improve our overall independence and sense of well-being. So the design tool aims to help all of us to look at a space with a fresh pair of eyes and to consider whether the space itself and all of the things in that space are obvious to their use. And if they are not obvious, then what exactly can we do to improve it to help more people with dementia and related health conditions to use that space more frequently? This might just be something like ensuring that a park bench actually looks like a park bench and that it is painted in a tone which doesn't blend into the background, and much more. The sections of the guide are split into a number of easy to go to sections, informed by people with dementia where they have told us they struggle. The sections are backed up by essential technical guidance, for example ensuring that the main entrance to a building stands out from the rest of the windows so that people can easily find their way into your organisation or business. We look at appropriate levels of lighting and we talk a lot about contrast, which is a key consideration in many aspects of design for people with dementia and sight loss. But we do, however, recognise that it's not always easy to achieve all of the elements in the tool, especially during a redecoration project and where buildings might be listed, for example. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try, as there is likely to be some small design change that will be permitted, and that might just be as simple as removing a black mat from the doorway of a shop floor. It costs no more to use a dementia-friendly paint scheme or flooring that creates an inclusive environment than it does to make choices that prevent people from enjoying that space. We have a number of examples now where we have taken the opportunity to practice some of the principles, and I'll just talk a little bit about that now across a few sites in Kirklees. Green Lodge is a 10-bedded dementia extra care scheme which forms part of a larger generic extra care scheme, and we were given a small budget for this refurb project. So we decided to concentrate on wayfinding and orientation as people had reported difficulties in finding their way back to their own flats. We chose signage which was consistent in shape, chose new contrasting colours, and for this example we chose charcoal grey background with white sans serif text. We included symbols and kept all of the directional arrows grouped together for simplicity. We simplified some of the wording as well. The original signage, as you can see, was very close to the ceiling and was very glossy. So we ensured that it was at the recommended height of 1.2 metres from floor level to the base of the sign. We also ensured that all tenant doorways were personalised and introduced large room numbers which can be seen from further along the corridors at either side to encourage people to find their way back to their own flat. We painted deeper colours at the doorways to make them stand out from the rest of the corridor. Just to note that for this scheme there were restrictions on placing paint or vinyls on the actual doors, so we had to work around that. There is also a shelf for people to place their personal items on, and at some of the destination points we will be adding some unique and interesting features so that people can anchor themselves to that point and help to orientate themselves. We also added blinds to try and reduce some of the shadows that were cast onto the floor. What we did note was that we had to use multiple cues and clues to continue to assist people to wayfind and orientate themselves around the building due to its design. And we tried a range of different colour palettes, but what we didn't want to do was to add so many different colours that it became confusing. And just noting that every choice has interdependencies on other elements, so that's always worth bearing in mind. At Almonbury Library, we improved the lighting to reduce shadows cast on the floor. We changed the signage on the bookshelves to ensure it used simple sans serif text and that it contrasted, yet kept within the branding of the library scheme. And we ensured that the signage was coated with a matte finish where it had previously been glossy to reduce reflections. We also increased the size of the text. We have introduced simple stickers to the self-checking machines to show everyone how to scan a book and where to place the books afterwards. We replaced the seating with colourful yet contrasting tones and extended the designs into the children's area, recognising the intergenerational aspects of visiting a library. We chose colourful yet contrasting elements throughout, ensuring the door frames contrasted and improved the general signage throughout the building. We also ensured that all leaflets and posters were gathered in one place and not haphazard all over the walls. People with dementia have difficulties dealing with high levels of stimulation, so we've tried to create a calming yet modern environment. We have also created a dedicated dementia collection of books, and we also now have a floating dementia information and advice clinic working from this library every week. At Cherry Trees Learning Disability Respite Centre, which is for adults with profound and multiple learning disabilities, there were a number of redevelopments scheduled to improve the scheme. So we took the opportunity to make dementia-friendly design changes where that was possible and appropriate for the client group. We ensured that the walkways were contrasting and had destination points. We improved the signage and we made the gardens more accessible and included sensory planting. We wanted to move away from institutional-looking wipeable chairs, so used a more modern yet still functional design which is subtly dementia-friendly. We used a height-adjustable sink and bath in the sensory bathroom and ensured that there were contrasting elements, and we used contrasting door frames and architraves. Where manifestations were required for safety aspects, we chose plain and simple calming elements to reduce overstimulation. We ensured that access and exit doorways were painted in a different colour so they stood out from the rest of the building, and the flooring is non-reflective and low pattern, yet still has a modern, homely feel about it. So that's just a few examples there of how we have started to put the guidance in practice in Kirklees. So if you have a programme of development or refurbishment, then it's a perfect opportunity to make some subtle design changes to ensure that they are inclusive of people with dementia and other long-term conditions. Thank you.